Hi everyone, my name is Khaila Macalinao, and in this study, our topic is focused on public performances. Now, the research question is: what is the relationship between the urban condition and the public spaces within the interior? Now, we are interested to see how people behave in the public interiors in relationship with the urban condition of the building that they're in. So, for example, if a person know that the external conditions that they're in, do they change how they act in the interiors, or will it be the same? For our literature review, I have decided to look at Matthew Carmona's classification of different types of urban public spaces, and he identified 20 types of urban spaces. Now, he regarded this as positive spaces, negative spaces, private spaces, and ambiguous spaces. Now, these are the positive and negative aren't necessarily characterizing them as good or bad, but rather it assesses how well these spaces support social exchange or interaction, which is what we are interested in. So, we are interested in if the external condition, the interaction on the external condition is the same as the interaction in the interior conditions, and if what people know the external urban space or external conditions um, of the place that they are in, do does it connect, like do they act according to that? And now this is where Irving Goffman's presentations of self come in, because in his study he claimed that self is a product of performance in social interaction. So self is a product of performance in social interaction. Now, what he meant by this is that do people present themselves in a way that they think that is acceptable by others, or their self is based on the social interaction that happened within their environment. So, in his study, he used dramaturgical analysis, where he compared real life interaction to stage plays where people are the actors, and the stage is the social setting in which they are in. Now, our settings for our study is the public interiors and the external or the urban space outside of that public interior. Now, for our observation, we decided to use two locations, and the difference between this is their external conditions, and their internal conditions are the same. Both of the spaces, the public interiors, are connected with interchange spaces. This interchange spaces is defined by Matthew Harmonas, and these are just the subway stops, the transport stops. In this case, in the first location, I used Dundas Station, and the second location, I used St. Andrew Station. So the method that we use to observe this is ethnographic research method. In the study, I went to two different locations for 2 hours and observed the interactions that happen within that social context. So during the observation, I used notes and sketches to record the activities that happen in these areas. Now, the result that I got is this. So remember, the first site that we were in is um, the civic space, just the Dundas Square. It's a public space that's really open. There is a lot of things that are happening. There's loud music. There are different billboards, people performing, and then the people's behavior on the outside, or the urban space, the external one, is that they're acting, they're approaching people like strangers to start a conversation. They People are taking photos, and then when we observed the interior public space, we saw that people are also very comfortable in the space that they are in. Like during my observation, I saw people sitting on the floor outside of the stores, and their feet are up on the chairs, and some people are even sleeping on the tables. I mean, sleeping in a way where their head is down on the tables. And then when people are talking, they have a more of an open body language and they were using their hands a lot. And then I've observed people are dressed more casually. On the second location, it's the exterior condition is the financial district, and then and the interior condition is public space in connection to um, the subway station, and the public space connect there. It's connected to is the reception area of an office building. Now, the reception area. Let's do the external condition first. So the external conditions, the area itself, it lacks in color. It's mostly monochrome. There's lots of mirror. You can see that most buildings are very private. People are just on their own and walking very fast as if they know where they're going. So there's not really much interaction that happens there. So when we saw the internal public space, even though there are spaces for social interaction, no one is really interacting with one another. It's either they're using the space as a stop to fix their backpack, or they're using it to sit and read the book, but not really talk to one another. And if there is a little bit of interaction that happened between people or friends, they usually have a very close body language. Their arms are close beside their body, and then they sort of whisper to one another. So it's not really a very loud environment, and you can see people are very aware of their surroundings. They're looking around. You're trying to be mindful not to disturb other people. So there, what we observed, there are differences with the external setting, and the differences is the social action that happened in the interiors is the same that the social and is the same with the social interaction that happens in the exterior, and the body language kind of copies or mimics um, the condition of the outside. Like um, when, for example, the buildings are very private, and then they kind of have their close body language to themselves, which like showcase a very private, and they keep it to themselves, and their attire they also match it accordingly to the space that they are in. So, in conclusion, this paper concludes that the external conditions play a significant role in how people behave, look, and interact. Although we do acknowledge that the study limits that we observed only had two conditions because we were only at two locations, and there's a gray area whether the external condition is a big factor or the types of people who frequent these spaces are the main driving factor behind how people act. Um, so yeah, that is it. Thank you so much and have a good day.